State Department spokesperson Ned Price held a press briefing on Monday, where he was asked directly about the Inflation Reduction Act's impact on South Korea. President Biden signed the Inflation Reduction Act into law last week. The climate, health, and tax legislation is a scaled-down version of the Build Back Better bill. Price said that, quote, "This is a piece of legislation that redounds positively, not only here at home, but also for our positioning on the world stage."
Thank you, Ned, and South Korea. Last weekend, Secretary Blinken and South Korean Foreign Minister Park Jin held a telephone conversation, and these two secretaries talked about the Inflation Reduction Act, where South Korea's Samsung and Hyundai companies have promised a huge investment in the United States. But if they don't generate profit for electric vehicles production, it's something to consider. But how does the Inflation Reduction Act affect South Korea?
Well, this is a piece of legislation, and for much of this, well, I'll defer to my colleagues at the White House. But this is a piece of legislation that redounds positively not only here at home, but also for our positioning on the world stage. We've often talked about, for our part, how one of the key drivers of our influence and our strength on the world stage is what we're doing here at home. And this is an important piece of legislation that was worked on over the course of many months that will allow us to carry forward key elements of the domestic agenda that also will move us forward on the world stage. The Secretary Kerry's office has issued a statement on the climate elements of this deal and what this will enable us to continue to advance here at home. But we also recognize that as we continue to speak to partners around the world about the importance of meeting their ambitious climate goals and commitments, that we need to be in a position to demonstrate that we're making progress here at home. So across the climate issue, across a number of issues, this will be important for us. But for any implications for South Korea, I would need to refer you to colleagues.
On North Korea, the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un's sister, Kim Yo-jong, has announced that North Korea has rejected the South Korean government bold plans proposal for North Korea. She also said that the North Korean nuclear program cannot be negotiated with economic cooperation. After all, North Korea is not willing to give up its nuclear weapons. What is the United States' position on North Korea's unwillingness to denuclearize?
Well, we're not going to get into a back and forth with the DPRK on this. We've been clear about our support for the bold or the ambitious plan that the South Korean administration has put forward. It's a plan that's entirely consistent with our approach to the DPRK's nuclear weapons program, to its ballistic missile program, in that it sees the potential for practical, if incremental, advancements towards the complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. That's really at the heart of our approach to the DPRK. As part of that, over the course of many months now, we have conveyed publicly, we've also conveyed repeatedly privately to the DPRK that we are ready and willing to engage in that dialogue and diplomacy. The DPRK has more recently heard that same message from the new administration in South Korea. We believe it is incumbent on the DPRK to respond and to respond affirmatively to that, knowing that, believing that we can achieve progress towards what is a collective goal. In the meantime, we're going to continue to stand by our treaty allies, the ROK, Japan, other allies in the Indo-Pacific, and to ensure that we are postured appropriately through defense and deterrence against any threats or provocations we may collectively face from the DPRK.
But no matter how much the United States and South Korea throw sweet candy to North Korea, North Korea will not take it because North Korea has already crossed the level of no return. Do you have any alternate tools for the?
We've seen periods of engagement from the DPRK. We've seen periods of provocation from the DPRK. It's very clear that we are in a period that has been characterized by the latter. Far be it from me to try to surmise or to assess what it is that the DPRK seeks in its provocations, but we are going to continue to be clear about what we are prepared to do and what we seek collectively to achieve with our South Korean allies, with our Japanese allies, and we'll continue to convey those messages both publicly and directly to the DPRK.